What'd you get? Oh, don't tell me. You got the exploding kitten. Oh no, you gotta use your zombie now.
How many do you got?
I have 4, 5, 6.
I gave you a mom kitten.
Okay. Okay, Shorty September, day 9. Our book for today is Gentlemen Overboard by something Lewis. Okay, this book satisfies so many of the prompts in my thing for this year. Like, I've got a million reading challenges, one of them being Shorty September, obviously. Okay, but also I'm doing like the Pop Sugar challenge, and I'm doing like the Simon Savage challenge, and just all these challenges that I always sign up for, way too many of them. So this book, it was written in the 30s. Okay, so it's going to do like a Simon Savage prompt of being between the wars. Okay, also it's like a something H. Lewis. I'm also an H. Lewis, so it satisfies a Pop Sugar prompt where you have to do a book by an author with the same initials as you. Okay, so that's 2, but also obviously Shorty September is a shorty. It's going to satisfy the denim shorts prompt for today. Like, look at me, I'm on fire. Like, coming to the end of the year, I am knocking out these challenges, friends. I'm basically a wizard. So it is actually, spoiler alert, the 8th of September at the minute, but I finished my book for today, which was quite good. So I'm getting a jump on my book for the 9th, mainly because tomorrow I'm gonna go to Bath on the train with the girls, do some drinking, do some hanging out. I think mainly the idea for tomorrow is that it's birthday drinks for me. I think that was discussed. That's the reason we're going. Because even though my birthday's 2 weeks away, everyone's always away for my birthday. Something about, I think in August, all the kids are still on vacation for school and everyone goes away with their kids. So nobody without any kids wants to do anything. Do you know what I mean? And then September rolls around, all the kids go to school, everything gets cheaper and quieter. People are like, oh, the weather's still nice. And then they vacate the city in droves. So no one's ever here for my birthday. So I think the idea for tomorrow is Bath for my birthday, which I'm cool. Because it's my birthday, I'm probably going to make people go to at least one bookstore. Or, potentially, I will leave to go to the bathroom, go down, out, into a bookstore for roughly 20 minutes, come back in and say that I was doing a mega poo. They'll believe it. Anyway, Gentlemen Overboard. I'm getting a jump on it today because tomorrow I don't foresee a lot of time to actually read. Or, in this case, listen to the audiobook, because it is an audiobook. It's just like the book I read a couple days ago, where I attempted to find it in my library or in a bookstore or whatever as an actual book, and when I couldn't find it on ebook or anything either, I had to get the audiobook, because the audiobook is the only thing I could find in my library. So that's fine, because I like an audiobook. I'm chill with an audiobook. And that gives me a chance then, if I'm like on the train tomorrow and haven't finished it yet, blah blah blah, I can then just sort of chill out and have a audiobook session. Okay, I've already listened to a bit of it tonight and it's sort of weird. It's this guy, he's on a ship, like it's like basically a cargo ship, but also passengers can go on it, you know, to get places for cheap or whatever, or like have a bit of a relaxing time. So he's on it for some sort of relaxing situation. He says that he's escaped his wife and his kids, blah blah blah. I reckon he's like, I don't know, middle-aged or sort of older, you know, maybe retired, sort of getting away. And he's made loads of friends on the ship. There's not a lot of actual passengers, but he's made friends with pretty much all of them, especially like one guy who's like a farmer, and he's like talking about them. But at some point, he falls off the boat. He like steps off, and now he's in the water, and I don't think anyone realizes that he's in the water, and they're just leaving. And then basically the rest of the book, it's a 3-hour audiobook, is just him like inner monologuing about stuff while he's like treading water, waiting for rescue. It's just like stuff he's thinking about while he's in the water. So like, it's okay so far. It's not bad. I'm only a little bit into it, but this is fine. Oh fuck, he's 35. Our main character, the guy that I thought was like a grandpa, he's 35. He's my age. I've gone to a dark place now, hearing this information. Like, I know it was written in the 1930s, right? And I know in the 21st century, 35 is the new 25, like whatever. But still, he's like talking about his life, and he's basically talking about his life like he's my parents, but he's my age. Like, he was on about going to bed at 9 o'clock and waking up at 4. Like, It's midnight. I'm in my kitchen eating Chinese food, and I'm gonna go and watch a Disney movie in a minute. I'm disgusting. Don't look at me. Holy crap, it's hot. Like, I've had to turn the fan off because I'm pretty sure you won't be able to hear me over it when I'm talking. But it's just like I turned it off and all of a sudden the heat has just hit me like a wall. I'm not gonna be able to ramble. I'm gonna have to get to the point. Basically, this guy falls off the boat, right? And he's thinking about how he fell off the boat and the exact way you're supposed to fall off a boat of that type. Like, apparently there's some sort of danger of being like chop sueyed by the propellers at the bottom, or like being like taken up in like a whirlpool and like sent down to the bottom of the ocean or whatever, where you can't breathe. But he did it in the exact way that you're supposed to, which is, and he tells you how you're supposed to do it. And I was like, I better listen to this, because what if I end up in that same situation? If I think to myself, of course that will never happen to me. I will never fall off an ocean liner. Obviously, I'm going to then fall off an ocean liner because I was so cocky about it. Like, I need to take in information like this. So what you do is, apparently, you sort of like straight dive like this. Like, your arms out first and then your head, and then like straight in like that. And then you sort of don't fight the whirlpool bit and you like tumble with it. Apparently, according to this like author in the 1930s, that's how you do it. Like, and it makes me think of, every time something like that happens, it makes me think of like this time when I was in school and my teachers were like asking everyone what's some advice that they'd recently been given by their parents. And like loads of kids were like, oh, I advise you to do the dishwasher more than once a week, because if you do it once a week you have like a huge job, whereas if you do it, you know, every couple of days or like every 2 days or whatever, you have a smaller job, you just more often, you know. And my thing was, I think I was like 10 or something, my thing was, my dad told me, if you're ever being chased by a man and a dog, you know, like a professional tracker with a dog, you need to remember that you can't fool the dog, okay? You have to fool the man. So say if the man expects you to be going in a certain direction, you need to go the other direction. You need to make the man question his dog, because the dog will always know where you are. Now, every time I read something or like see something or whatever with like weird bits of information like that, I think, you never know. You never know, you know? What's the harm in taking that shit in, you know? Storing it away for later. Okay, I'm getting on in the book now, right? And I think I'm really liking it. Like, it's proper weird, like, but I think I'm really enjoying it. So, first of all, I'd like to say that we're sort of getting into the reasons why he left now. And it does appear that he had some sort of midlife crisis at 35. Like, should I be having a midlife crisis at 35? Because I feel like I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm not in the midlife area. But I do think it's sort of characteristic of it being in the 30s, you know, like properly, like, you know, 35 is new 25, that sort of thing, like 21st century. Like in the 1930s, I think, you know, people my age were proper grown-ups. I think, like, obviously nowadays people at my age are proper grown-ups, like some of them. Most of the people I know are my age, like, aren't. Do you know what I mean? But it is like a really 1930s thing. I think even sort of my parents' generation, like when they're my age, I think, yeah, like way more grown up, way more sort of like on the downward trudge toward being old. But also like loads of other really interesting things about the 30s are sort of coming up. Like, he's a gentleman. So I know the title is Gentleman Overboard, but he's sort of really reserved in the things that he does, and the people on the ship sort of see him as like a sort of superior sort of dude to them because he's a gentleman. Like, he's not just rich, he's like old money rich and sort of bred to be rich, like sort of New York Yale lawyer rich, you know. And so you've got this sort of New England farmer guy who's a bit older, and he likes this guy and he's like friends with him and he's talking to him and stuff. But the reason he doesn't go looking for him straight away after he sort of realizes he's missing is that he's sort of embarrassed by his disappearance. He's sort of like, he must think that I'm just a bumpkin. Like, he is a good man. He's a superior sort of man. And he's clearly just tired of me just constantly trying to talk to him. You know, like that sort of thing. Like, he's some sort of royalty, even though he's just sort of this old money rich man. And I think, like, there's a bit of that today. obviously, especially like I don't live in New York, like maybe it's like big in New York still, but I think it is sort of something that is quite old-fashioned nowadays, and it's really interesting. The sort of book itself seems to be sort of two different books in one. Like it starts out like a sort of comedy, you know, sort of like an old school type like Wodehouse comedy. But as things go forward, you know, time goes on, he's becoming sort of more desperate and more like, I don't know, wild and insane a bit in the water, sort of throwing his clothes off and sort of like thinking about maybe just ending it all by trying to kill himself in the water. And you're sort of thinking, you know, they've come back toward him. Are they going to make it in time? Should I be hoping for this? It's turning into basically like a thriller, you know, not a really obvious thriller, but like a subtle sort of thriller where you're really gripped and sort of like everything is clenched and you're sort of hanging on to find out what happens. And I only have about 45 minutes left in the audiobook, so I think I'll definitely be able to finish it today, like either on the way to the station getting to Bath, or just maybe on the train back from Bath, or sort of like when I get home later. I don't think the last train back from Bath to Cardiff is actually that late. I think we might be back sort of before 9 or 10 o'clock. So sorted, on track. I'm leaving late to the station, so now I gotta haul ass. But it's hot as hell already, man. It's not even 11 o'clock. When I get there, I'm gonna be Captain Sweaty. My god, I'm so sweaty. Like, everything sticks. My shirt, like my underpants, everything is sticking to my body. It's disgusting. Like, in Bath today, like, it was amazing. It was so fun, but also so hot, and everyone was miserable, you could tell. Like, we had to come home a bit early, actually. Like, I think we were gonna come home on the last train. In the end, we were just like, let's go home now because we're exhausted and we need to sit in a fan and just die. Anyway, okay, I finished the book. I finished it on the train back, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Like, no spoilers. I'm not gonna like let anything slip out, but I'm gonna go with, I think, 4 stars. Like, I mean, depending on how drunk I am still when I actually like put in my Goodreads thing, maybe it'll be 5 stars. I don't know. I'm feeling a bit like in the middle at the minute, but we'll go with 4 just to sort of like, you know, be conservative. But there's like an afterword at the end, so it's like the book and then an afterword, and the afterword is on about how the author was blacklisted in Hollywood. Like, he was a screenwriter as well as like writing books, and he was blacklisted and then just died as like a sort of nobody. And he, like, in an interview or something like that, sort of likened this book to the main character, in that, like, the main character, he's all alone and lonely in the sea, you know, just sort of thinking about his life, blah, blah. And this book as well was sort of like all alone and lonely in the sea because nobody, like, there were no reviewers, there were no readers. It sort of like was released to like nobody, to crickets, you know, and he was like, there's nobody to read my book. Anyway, that's quite sad, I thought. But now it's sort of being revived. It's like being republished and sort of everyone's sort of picking it up out of nowhere and giving it another life, and I really enjoy that. Anyway. Okay, tomorrow's book is Morven Collar, which is a cult classic. I'm super excited about it. I've read about 10 pages of it already just on the train today, and I love it already. I'm doing it for the prompt that's like the movie and book prompt, like half and half shorts where you do the book and then do the movie. So hopefully, because it'll be a Sunday tomorrow and we don't have a lot on besides like yoga and stuff, I'll have enough time to do it. But the book itself is like a bit thicker than most of the books I've been reading for Shorty September thus far. So I hope I have enough time and I hope I'm not stressed about it. Okay, if you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. Thank you. Still loving the comments. Still loving when you put down below like the books that you're loving this month, because they're going straight to my TBR. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.